Patrice Émery Lumumba, born on July 2, 1925, in Unalua, in the Kasai province, is one of the most emblematic figures in modern African history. Belonging to the Tetela ethnic group and coming from a modest family, Lumumba grew up in a rural environment deeply rooted in tradition, extended family ties, and the influence of the Catholic Church. From an early age, he distinguished himself through his intellectual curiosity, his keen sense of justice, and his burning desire to understand the world around him. He witnessed firsthand the harsh conditions in which the Congolese lived, the inequalities imposed by the Belgian colonial system, and the restrictions on the freedoms of his people. This environment forged in him a profound political consciousness and a commitment to the dignity and liberty of his fellow citizens. As he matured, Lumumba demonstrated remarkable dedication to learning. He acquired a strong command of the French language, which was imposed by the colonizers, yet he wielded it as a tool for liberation and advocacy. From a young age, he understood that education was a means of transforming society and giving a voice to the oppressed. He worked as a clerk in colonial offices, which allowed him to observe the bureaucracy and its injustices from within. But he did not limit himself to this role. He actively participated in political discussions, sought knowledge, read extensively, and engaged with other young Congolese intellectuals, gradually shaping his political vision and developing his charisma as an orator. The context of the 1950s was pivotal. The entire African continent was in a state of political awakening. Liberation movements were emerging everywhere, spreading ideas of sovereignty, dignity, and social justice. Lumumba became acutely aware of this momentum and decided to devote himself entirely to the struggle for Congo's independence. In 1958, he participated in the Brussels World's Fair, a defining moment in his life. There, he confronted the way Belgium portrayed its colonies, reducing Congolese people to infantilized, stereotypical images. This experience strengthened his resolve. He realized that the Congo needed to free itself not only from political and economic control, but also from the degrading perceptions imposed by colonial powers. It was in this context that Lumumba founded the Congolese National Movement, the MNC, in 1958. This political party became the primary vehicle for his ideas and activism. It advocated national unity, the transcendence of ethnic and regional divisions, and the emancipation of all Congolese. He did not confine himself to rhetoric. He organized public meetings, mobilized youth, and worked to build a movement capable of transforming society. Very quickly, he stood out for his eloquence, passion, and ability to touch people's hearts. His charisma drew wide attention and inspired thousands of Congolese to envision a free and sovereign nation. Lumumba did not merely criticize the colonial system. He offered alternatives and called for collective mobilization. He traveled to villages and neighborhoods, met with workers, peasants, artisans, and intellectuals, striving to understand their challenges and amplify their voices. His growing popularity and his image as the undisputed leader of the independence movement were products of tireless engagement and an unwavering commitment to justice. Imagine this period as a time of extreme tension. The Congo stood on the threshold of independence, colonial powers were on the defensive, and the Congolese people yearned for freedom after decades of oppression. In this climate,
quitte immédiatement le territoire de notre République afin que la paix soit immédiatement rétablie. Je me permets de vous présenter à tous, correspondants et membres de la presse internationale présente aux Nations Unies, le Premier ministre du gouvernement de la République du Congo, M. Lumumba. Représentant de la presse, c'est avec plaisir que je me trouve aujourd'hui parmi vous pour vous parler des problèmes du Congo. Je suis venu aux États-Unis pour prendre contact avec le secrétaire général des Nations Unies, lui exposer avec objectivité les causes des événements du Congo et demander son appui pour que les troupes belges quittent immédiatement le territoire de notre République afin que la paix soit immédiatement rétablie. Parce que tant que les troupes belges resteront au Congo, la paix ne sera pas rétablie. Le rétablissement de l'ordre et de la paix au Congo est conditionné au retrait de ces troupes.
His fall, his assassination, and the enduring legacy he left for the Congo and the African continent as a whole. Understanding this period is crucial because it reveals the challenges of African sovereignty in the face of colonial and neo-colonial pressures, and it highlights the continuity of the Pan-African struggle today. June 30th, 1960, is a date etched into history. The Congo attained independence after nearly 60 years of Belgian domination. Patrice Lumumba became the first prime minister of the country, embodying the hopes of millions of Congolese. His inaugural speech at the independence ceremony was a historic and symbolic moment. He openly denounced the abuses of Belgian colonialism, the humiliations endured by his people, and called for a genuine reclamation of Congolese dignity. These words, powerful and sincere, did not go unnoticed. They shocked Belgian public opinion and attracted international attention. Lumumba instantly became a symbol of resistance and a formidable leader in the eyes of those wishing to maintain influence over the Congo. However, his tenure was fraught with difficulties. The newly independent state faced immense political instability. The secession of the mineral-rich Katanga province threatened national unity. Western powers, particularly Belgium and the United States, feared Lumumba might turn to the Soviet Union for support against secessionist movements. His commitment to an independent policy and his refusal to yield to external pressures placed him in an increasingly dangerous position. On September 5, 1960, barely months after independence, President Joseph Kasavubu dismissed him from office. This political shock plunged the country into chaos and marked the beginning of a tragic turn. The situation rapidly deteriorated. Lumumba attempted to reclaim power but was betrayed, arrested, and transferred to Katanga province. There, under tragic circumstances, he was executed on January 17, 1961. His assassination, premeditated and supported by both local and international actors, stands as a dramatic symbol of the violence endured by those who dared defend African independence against external interests. Every detail of this period demonstrates just how threatening Lumumba was to those determined to maintain Africa under foreign influence. Yet, though his life was cut short, his vision and struggle endured. Patrice Lumumba became a universal symbol of resistance, dignity, and courage. Even today, his name inspires generations of young Africans and advocates for continental sovereignty. In 2022, Belgium returned one of Lumumba's teeth to his family, a symbolic act acknowledging historical responsibility. In 2025, on the centenary of his birth, Brussels hosted an exhibition in his honor, and officials involved in his assassination faced legal proceedings. These gestures underscore that decades later, the world continues to recognize the importance of his life and struggle. Lumumba's fight for freedom and dignity finds echoes in contemporary Pan-African leaders. Take, for example, Ibrahim Traoré, a captain in Burkina Faso, who in 2025 promoted a manifesto for a new Pan-Africanism, calling for unity, sovereignty, and the reclamation of African history. Like Lumumba, Traoré advocates for Africa taking control of its destiny and resisting external pressures. Similarly, Laurent Gbagbo, former president of Côte d'Ivoire, embodies this continuity. Through his party, the PPACI, he champions a Pan-African vision that emphasizes sovereignty, dignity, and the self-determination of African peoples. These leaders, each in their own context, continue Lumumba's legacy by advancing the idea that the continent must liberate itself from external influences to build a just and prosperous future. For those of you watching this video, it is crucial to understand that Lumumba's struggle is not merely historical. It remains highly relevant today. Sovereignty, unity, and dignity are still central issues for African peoples. Every action, speech, and mobilization in this regard continues his fight. Therefore, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to follow our videos on African history, Pan-Africanism, and the continent's great leaders. Leave a comment with the word Lumumba to show that you continue his struggle and believe in the freedom and dignity of Africa. Lumumba teaches us that courage and vision can transform history and inspire generations. Even in the face of betrayal, violence, and death, His ideas resonate and continue to inspire movements for liberation and sovereignty across Africa. Every young African who today engages for justice, freedom, and dignity contributes to this legacy. Every discussion, political action, and decision that strengthens unity and independence is a way to keep the flame Lumumba lit over 60 years ago alive. Never underestimate the power of commitment and conviction. Lumumba proves that even against immense obstacles and seemingly insurmountable forces, courage, integrity, and vision can create an enduring legacy. So subscribe, activate the bell, and comment Lumumba to be part of this ongoing struggle. The fight for a free and sovereign Africa continues, and each of us has a role to play in ensuring that his dream never dies.